Greetings, gamers, and welcome to part 3 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9 Path of Radiance. And in today's episode, we're going to be dealing more and more with this bandit stronghold. First and foremost, we're actually going to take Titania over here and just swoop in and take out their bandits. This is going to be seen largely as a waste of experience points. Frankly, I don't care. Your characters, even on difficult mode, get so much experience points and scale so quickly that it is utterly pointless to worry about such a thing, in my humble opinion. Alright, so we're going to attack this bandit since Boyd missed. We're actually going to finish this bandit off with Boyd, but what that does entail is that I'm going to have to heal up Boyd to make sure, well, how much damage is he taking? Only 9, so we can actually go ahead and heal up after this. Alright, cool. So, healing staves, I didn't talk about this last time, or last episode, but healing staves, a staff that restores 10 HP plus the wielder's magic converted to HP to a target unit. So, Rise heals 20 HP. I mean, he's already far and away better than a Vulnerary, which isn't saying much because Vulneraries are just trash. But it's at least great. I'm very thankful that Rise has some good staff utility early on, especially because the staff units that I'm going to be replacing him with, not actually really that great concerning healing, or even staff rank in general. But I thought, as a way to quote-unquote nerf myself, as a way to make it so that it's more fair, because I'm basically breaking the rules of my own run, since I'm using a pre-promote run, I figured it was a nice compromise. And it is a nice compromise. I will continue doing so. Titania over here is perfectly capable of taking on whole hordes of enemies in the early game. She could take on whole chapters up until who knows when. She's just that good. And with her growth rates being great as well, it's just fantastic how good she is. Alright, so no longer need Boyd. Ike can move forward. I'm only doing this specifically as a means to an end, just in case, but it's very likely that it's not going to matter. See, I'm almost certain... Okay, so she does not KO him. That's nice. Because of that, we can actually gain the last bit of experience points of KOing him on Ike. And Titania, we will move her down just a little bit. She's going to easily take out this bandit, and then leave Ikanau, I believe it's like Ikanau or something like that, low for Ike to finish off. Now, if he has a healing item, which I doubt, yeah, it's Ikanau.
I've been waiting for you, you red-haired demoness. You are going to hurt, and hurt bad. This is for my mates who fell before you in Chaldea.
No matter your motives, you've taken helpless innocents as hostages. You're not fit to be called man. May the blessings of the goddess be kept from you for all eternity. Yeah, I was afraid of her getting a crit. That was the only way that this little strategy of mine could have been technically mucked up. And of course, we're going to move Oscar out of the way. We're actually going to shove Rise, so we can get just a little bit more experience points. Don't really need it, but it doesn't really hurt in this early game for Rise to have a bit of extra experience points. Now, he could end up going into the heal hedge, which gives 10 avoid, 1 defense, and heals, I believe, 20% of your HP. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, I was figuring he would do that, but it's of no consequence. Ikanao is going to be defeated. Will you let the two of them go now?
Sure, you can have them both. If you can beat me, that is. This can't be. I don't deserve to lose cell swords like you.
Almost another level up for Ike. And we got ourselves the Speed Wing. Alright, somehow we did it.
Somehow? What do you mean somehow? We did it because we're better than them.
Boyd, calm yourself. What you did was in direct defiance of the orders I explicitly gave you. How it all turned out is another issue altogether. Deputy Commander, I take full responsibility. The failure is mine. Accept our apologies. Oscar, Prize, what am I supposed to do with you two? I think I'll leave you two to the commander. He'll know how to handle you, I'm sure. Now, let's find Mist and Rolf. According to the bandit chief, they're in that shack back... What? Mist? Please let us go. I said let us go. Mist? Brother, everyone, you came. Oh, I'm scared. Rolf. Oscar, help me.
Rolf, I'm here too.
Boyd.
Stop crying. You don't need to worry. We'll get you out of there. That's right. Buck up, buddy.
I'll try.
You harm either of them and I'll see you dead. Shut your thinking trap. If you want these two alive, you'll throw your weapons down. If you don't, I'll start with the girl.
Stop. Wait. Huh?
Yeah?
I'm putting down my weapons. See?
Smart move, wench.
Deputy Commander. We're here to save them. Now all of you back off.
Okay.
Dang.
This stinks. Alright, so now you're all unarmed. Which means all you can do is watch while I gut this whiny brat like a fatling pig.
Ah. Oh. Rolf, can you hear me?
Mist, is it Rolf? Is he?
He's fine. He's just fainted is all. There's not a scratch on him.
Whew, don't do that to me.
I'm just glad to see you both alive and well.
You're both so brave.
Yep, thanks. This guy's dead. This arrow, who shot it?
A single arrow right between the eyes? Who else could make a shot like that? No one. That's who.
That voice.
Don't you children owe me a little gratitude? I did just save your lives.
Deputy Commander, Shinon. You're both so cool. With this armor on, you know I can't run that fast. Shinon Gatry. So that's where you went, Titania. Of course. I knew we'd need reinforcements. I'm glad it just wasn't a waste of time. Well done, both of you.
In the end, I got to feather someone, so it was worth the rush.
Oh, I did. Was sweat. That was hard work. Brother. Mist. You did well, sis. You must have been frightened. I never stopped believing. I knew that you and the others would come and rescue us. I knew you'd come. So I was fine. Really? That's an improvement on your usual sobbing and nose running. You jerk. My nose does not run. Run straight off your nose, in fact. All right, come on. Let's head home. My goodness, what a day this has been. Chapter 3, Pirates Aground. Mercenary Fort, again. You wanted to see me, Father? Sit down, Ike. We haven't had a chance to speak yet. Titania told me what had happened while I was gone, about the kidnapping, about my own men disobeying Titania's direct orders. I was the one who left first. I'll take responsibility for everything. No fair playing the martyr. Nobody made me go with you. I left of my own free will. I'm ready to accept my punishment too. Wait, what am I saying? Please, Commander Grail. Titania entrusted me with her orders. If anyone's to blame for this mess, it's me. I'm the one who should be punished. I set a poor example, Commander Grail. Any punishment should be mine alone. I'm pleased to see that you are willing to shield one another. However, regardless of your reasons, you disobeyed the orders of a superior officer. You are confined to quarters for 10 days. But, Father, they did what they did to help me and Rolf. Rules exist for a reason, Mist. Men won't survive on a battlefield if they do as they wish without so much as a by your leave. I understand, and accept the reprimand. That being said, we've got more work than we can handle. Your punishment is deferred until things calm down. Oscar Boyd, Rise, you come with me. Shannon Gatry, and you, Ike, you're with me. Yar har ho, me belly's emptier than me first mate's head. Fetch me some grub. Port Telma. That's the pirate ship in question, isn't it?
Aye, they sailed into a port a few days ago and have been causing trouble ever since. I pray that you and your companions can drive them away.
I understand. We'll do all we can. Feathery sea scum is like shooting apples off a tree. Let's do the job and get out of here.
Oh, Deputy Commander.
You want standard thunder and lightning maneuvers here? Thunder and lightning? Yeah, I crash into him like thunder, and Shannon rains arrows down on him like lightning. Sounds good. What should I do? Let's hold back and let Shannon and Gatry soften them up. Once they've whittled them down the numbers, we'll all rush the ship and wipe out whatever's left. There would be whoever's left. English. Are you all ready? Grail mercenaries, move out. On my way. Here we go. Ready. Alright, so we do get a menu here to mess with inventory items and such. And we are going to gladly do so. Rise can be a carry-all. Let's actually trade that Seraph robe to Rise as well. And then, Oscar, you can take one iron sword. We'll give you one of the iron axes for the time being. I think that's fine. We don't want too many items on our units because, as I said before, it is not good to be dropping things. Now, you can also reposition here, so we're getting battle preps, we're just not getting access to a convoy, and to prove that point, there is no convoy, no give all. So there is no convoy in your party, blah blah blah, we don't get the convoy for quite a lot of chapters. We're actually at what I would say imperfect organization here. We don't need to do anything better than this. We're just going to fight. Now, before we do actually fight, we have two units we want to talk about. Well, I want to specifically talk about both of them. And one is Gatry. He is our first knight. This should say Armored Knight, or Armored Lance, or whatever. Armored Knight, something. So, it wouldn't actually be a problem. He could say Knight, but the mounted units, the cavalry, should be called Cavalry. So, Gatry here. 80% HP growth. 55% strength, 5% magic, 55% skill, 25% speed, 25% luck, 60% defense, and 30% resistance. So, in this game, and pretty much only in this game, well, in the Tellius series, Armor Knights actually have some resistance. As you saw, that's 30% resistance growth. That means that he's going to reliably have some resistance. I don't understand the trope of Armor Knights having super high defense and attack, but having really terrible speed and resistance. I'm okay with them having really terrible speed or resistance, but not and. There should be some kind of help there. I'm okay with the slow speed. It makes sense. It does not make sense for them to have no resistance. Now, Gatry has 0 resistance. 30% growth is not really going to save him until he's promoted, basically. You're not going to have anything above, like, maybe a 10 resistance by the time he's promoted, if that. So you're never going to really be saved by that until, like, late game. And even then, you're going to be fighting stronger mages, more powerful magic, so it's not really that great. However, you can actually save his speed. He has only a 25% speed growth, which is horrendous for this game's standards. But later on in this game, you get an item called the Night Ward, which is an item equipable by all Cavaliers and Knight units, and it buffs your defense and resistance by +2 apiece, temporarily, while you have it equipped. That's not what is so great about it. It has a hidden +30% speed growth attributed to it. So Gatry here will have a 55% speed growth, which is pretty darn good for an armored unit. That does save his speed, and my recommendation is, if you're going to use him, I would probably wait to train him until you get that item, so that you can fully throw a whole lot of speed into this guy. Otherwise, he's going to suffer, because he's going to be doubled in 1 round KO'd by most magic units. Most. Especially mid to late game. And you don't really want that. You wanna fix that somewhat if you have the opportunity, and you do. So basically, we get a Sed Scroll that's kind of, in some ways, better than the Sed Scroll in Thracia. Doesn't have any magic buff, but it does have that +2 defense and resistance. Now, granted, all the scrolls work like Iron Runes, so you cannot possibly be crit while you have them, so they're better in that way too. Even the best instance of a stat increasing item in this game is still not as good as any of the scrolls in Thracia, which is really funny to me. It just goes to show you that balance is too much of a focus in modern folks' minds, and I wish it would get out of people's minds. Balancing the fun out of games is not fun. It makes games boring, and people do it for this like competitive nature of making games these like high tier professional competitive sports. They're games, they're video games, they're meant to be enjoyed and played and had fun with. Like, get over it. With decent bases, Gatry here, he's not really affected, nor will he be affected by pretty much anyone who has any physical attacks in the early game, which is pretty great. He's also not weighed down by either of his lances except for the Steel Lance, but that's only by 1. Hilariously, Gatry with a Steel Lance can double 0 speed units before Boyd would be able to with even the Iron Axe, which is wild. Let's just say that. A D rank in lances is super unfortunate, but, could be worse. No skills to speak of. And of course, we have another unit, a pre-promote, a sniper, Shinon. Shinon has pretty astonishing growth. He's a very interesting unit. He's a pre-promote with not so great bases. They're passable, especially for this time of the game. They're perfectly serviceable in this time of the game. Perfectly good, in fact. But, what's so cool is that Shinon has incredible growth rates. some of the best in the entire game. And he's a level 1, so he has 19 levels to get those growth rates. 75% HP, 65% strength, 20% magic, 70% skill, 65% speed, 35% luck, 50% defense, and 40% resistance. This man is nuts. He is one of my favorite units to use in Path of Radiance because of this. Now, of course, archers suffer the curse that they have no 1-2 range options, at least not in this game. And that means that enemy phasing with this character is, by and large, mostly useless, especially because most of the time there are not chapters like the Hallway of Death in Thracia to allow your 2-range archers or mages to really shine. But he's still a great unit, a fun unit. What's unfortunate, though, is that he has magic, and a decent amount of magic considering he's not a mage, and even a okay growth in it for not being a mage, but there is no magical bow in this game, which is very strange. It's the whole Ronin thing again, except Ronin's magic actually served a purpose. Pretty decent bases, fantastic growth rates, and you'll see he has 22 crit. Now, this is something that's hidden in this game. You don't see this at all. But certain classes, pre-promoted classes, have buffs to critical. Snipers get a plus 15 critical. So he would actually only have a 7 because half of 15 skill rounded down is only 7. So he has a 22 crit because of this. This is awesome, especially when you get your hands on killer bows. He comes with an A rank in bows, which means he can use pretty much everything in the game except for one singular bow, and that bow itself is not really all that great, let's be real. And he comes with his own personal skill, which only takes up 5 capacity also, provokes enemies into attacking first. This is tricky. It's tricky to use because what it does is it allows the AI to want to attack him more often than other units. But there are some caveats to this. There are some units that they will choose to attack over Shinon regardless because those units can't attack back and have much less defense and resistance or so on and so forth. But where this skill shines is Siege Tomes. We're definitely going to see that later on. It's very fantastic, in fact. Alright, so what we want to do is we're actually going to have you stuck here with the Steel Lance. We're going to go over here, KO you with Shinon. He's 2-hit KOing, which is fantastic with that steel bow. Considering his reasonable... I mean, I did say his growths are pretty good. I mean, they're nothing compared to Titania's, but they are good for him, particularly. Let's see. I don't think we're going to be able to KO either of these guys, and that is a definite no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so he's not going to be able to go there. Which one is a bigger threat to Ike? Whichever one it is the one I'm going to KO. Alright, so it's the top one. We're going to have to use a Steel Axe for this here. Just to make sure of this KO. And then we're going to move Titania right here. Ike right here. Now, you don't have any healing in this chapter, so it is, at least in my humble opinion, highly recommended that you do not attack with Ike if you're not capable, or if you don't want to necessarily heal. Let the enemies attack you. Hey, you boat monkey, you tricked me, didn't you?
Tricked ye? What a vile nasty thing that is to be saying, don't you agree, matey? Yar, that I do. There be nothing but honest pirates aboard this ship, missy.
You said you knew the whereabouts of my older brother. That's why I came all the way to your ship.
Aye, and we do know. He was on board for a while, and then, do you recall where he went, matey?
Yar that I do. He was a penniless oaf, so we tossed his worthless carcass into the rolling waves. Yar har ho. My brother? That's horrid. Horrid? Did ye say horrid? Your scurvy brother was the horrid one. He lost a game of chance, he did. If you lose, you must pay. And the scallywag tried to cheat me. By Shanty Pete, he did. Arr, calm yourself, me hearty. Yar, yar, yar. After all, his darling sister's come to pay us a visit. What say you work off your brother's debt? What say I run you through with my lance and call it a day? Yar har ho! It matters not that ye be a Pegasus knight, lassie. A wee minnow like yourself is no match for a sea dog's. Prepare yourself, you flying wench. Pfft, I'm not afraid of you, you clambake. If your axe is as dull as your wit, this will be over in no time. It would be over in no time, especially if she gets KO'd on the first turn or two. And that's not impossible or unlikely to happen. If it does happen, I don't plan on resetting. Also, being real, since we're not using her or the character she recruits, it's not really all that big a deal in my opinion. But I do try to make sure that Marcia doesn't get KO'd, because why have a dead unit if you don't have to have a dead unit? Alright, Ike, good job, good job. Now we can finish him off with the Steel Sword next turn, which is going to be great. One of the reasons why we did this also with Gatry is so that he can be surrounded by all these guys, attack them, hopefully hit them all. Sometimes he does like missing, especially the axe units. Steel Lance is probably not the best option for this point, but it does do more damage. Ooh, very nice, thank you. I appreciate that. The more of these guys we finish off as quickly as possible, the better, being honest. So that's perfectly acceptable. Thank you very much, Gatry. Yeah, some of these guys he does double because they just don't have speed worth beans. And sometimes Marcia decides not to heal. Not exactly sure why, but when she decides that, she is a dead duck. She's most likely going to heal now, though. Yeah, but again, she only has vulneraries, and they're super great, am I right? Alright, Steel Sword, we're going to finish you off. Perfect. That is another level for Ike. Even with all the quote-unquote experience that Titania is stealing, and the rest of my units are as well, Ike is still gaining some pretty phenomenal levels. This town seems quite unruly, wouldn't you say? Is it always this dangerous? Oh, so it's plagued by pirates, is it? I see. That would explain why the people here seem so anxious. You appear to be a mercenary. Would I be right in supposing that you were hired to clean out the pirates? Here, perhaps you should take this. It might help you if you run into trouble contending with the pirates. But do hurry. I came all this way to see the world-famous fish market, and I'll never do so with those ruffians around. Best of luck to you. And I get an elixir. That's awesome, because this is actually a useful healing item, a potent potion that restores all HP when consumed. Thank you. It's actually pertinent for it to be on Titania, though we can put it on her regardless, so it's not that big a deal if I have Titania grab it or not. Let's see. Can we actually hit here? This is like a 78 hit with false hit. Alright, Gatry. Good job, good job. Actually, we're gonna move here. Attack with the iron bow, because we can finish you off with something weaker. I'm not a real big fan of archers in the series, but there are a couple of instances where I really like pre-promoted snipers, and it just has to do with the fact that those snipers are strong. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother using them. Alright. Marsha has to dodge quite a few hits here. What she did. Showing that she's not totally worthless. In this particular chapter. Marsha's actually a fantastic unit. Flying utility is great in this game. There is no doubts about that. Alright, so we'll get you out of the way. We're actually going to move straight forward with Shinon and Gatry, because we've cleared out all the rabble. I was hoping that Archer would attack Shinon, but we just saw the fact of the matter that it's not always the best ability. That darn Provoke. It doesn't always work. It's not always reliable. You have to be careful of that. So, for instance, like if there was an Archer on the ship, he would sooner attack the Pegasus Knight, Marsha, before he would ever attack Shinon, because he's got double effective damage. Yes, because this game does not have triple effective damage. It only has double. Isn't that fantastic? Something I don't appreciate. It's that way in Fire Emblem 7 as well. Fire Emblem 7 and 9 are, I believe, the only two games in the series that, out of the games that do have triple effective or effective damage that is multiplied in such a way, only have double. Which is unfortunate, to say the least. But, with that being said, I think this is a perfect opportunity for my farewells to be given. I want to thank you for joining me, and if you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming. I'll see you next time.